organizer and national campaign surrogate, Phillip Agnew.
East LA, how are you doing? Are you ready for Senator Bernie Sanders? Well, my name is Phillip Agnew. I'm an artist. I'm the oldest of 4 sons born to a preacher and a teacher. I'm a Tio. And we don't say we want Medicare for some, we want Medicare for all. We don't want housing for some, we want housing for all. We don't want justice for some, we want justice for all. We don't want college for some, we want college for all. We don't want a Green New Deal for some, we want a Green New Deal for all. Because none of us are free until all of us are free. And there is only one candidate and movement that is prepared to take on the challenges of this time with bold and consistent vision. There is only one candidate and movement that has stood with everyday people for decades. They didn't just get here. There is only one candidate and movement ready to defeat Donald Trump in less than a year. And that movement is ours, and that candidate is Bernie Sanders. So I want you to put your hands together and get on your feet as we welcome to the stage the 46th President of the United States of America, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Hello, folks. How you doing? My name is Tim Black. I have the opportunity to bring someone on the show that I admire, who I think is a powerful voice for the progressive movement. His name is Phillip Agnew, the national surrogate for the Bernie Sanders campaign. Hey, Phillip, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing amazing. I told you already, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. So I'm excited to be here with you and with your audience. And it's an incredible honor. Your voice is super important, especially in this time where Black media is being shuttered around the country. Your voice shines through. And so thank you for having me.
Well, I was telling you offline, Phillip, that we respect you, man. It was very exciting to see you come on the scene. I know you've probably been around. You know how it is. You're an overnight success who's just been working for about, 10 years on your craft, right?
Yeah. Back then they didn't know me. Mike Jones said, back then they didn't know me.
Now everybody on me. Now they all on me, right? That's it, man.
Yeah.
But look, guys, I gotta push it because Phil is in Iowa and he's about to go where now, Phillip?
We're going to Cedar Rapids right now for a barbershop talk. We've been doing barbershop conversations all over the country. Then I did one yesterday and I'm doing another one today in Iowa.
Did Michael Render inspire this?
You know what? I think he was a big inspiration for it. Now, I've been doing barbershop conversations for a while. And so I think a lot of people have had the idea, but Killer Mike is one of those people who understands the power of the barbershop. This is the first Twitter. When I was little, when I go to the barbershop, that's how I found out what was going on in the neighborhood. That's how I found out what was important, how to walk, how to be a man in some ways. My father was absolutely a huge influence in the home. This isn't to take away from his impact on my life, but the barbershop, I got to see other people moving and gesturing. And so the barbershop is key to our community and to democracy, how we see it.
That's amazing, man. I love that touch that you put on that about the dad, man. I appreciate you throwing that in and disposing of some of these stereotypes we hear every day. Now, what's been the dialogue in these barbershop talks, man? What are the people talking about? What are their concerns?
Well, Tim, the first thing that they're saying is you're the first presidential campaign that's ever come into our office and actually listened. And so that is the first thing we're breaking. Excuse me, we're breaking, sheets and sheets of ice where no one is going into barbershops and having the conversations that we're having with them. So that's the first thing. The second thing they're saying is, how are we? These are places where some of these men, this is the only economic opportunity that they have left available to them. And so they want to know, what is Senator Sanders' presidency going to do for the economic outlook of our community? And I'm always excited to tell them that, first off, let's talk about some of the reasons that this is the only economic opportunity you have is because the schools have been closed, because there's no jobs in the community, because you went to jail for a little bit of marijuana, and now that you're out, you are never able to get some of the training and the jobs that you want. And those are all things that Senator Sanders speaks to. And so they're talking about that. Some of them, if I can be honest, are also talking about father's law. They're talking about the ability to be able to see their children. And while Senator Sanders may be not touching on all of those things, I'm able to say, well, some of the reasons you're not able to see your children is because of a crime bill that said you're not able to be in the same home or receive public assistance because you've been in jail. And we should talk about who started that crime bill and who was behind it and who was the one who spoke out against it. So
unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
So these barbershop talks, as you know, this is a place where we can exchange information, where we debate, where we are able to be vulnerable and sometimes. And so we've been getting to the heart of the matter. And we've been showing that Black men not only have stuff to say, but they're prepared to engage in not only the political process, but in the process of organizing their communities and distributing the right information to their clients.
Well, that sounds a lot more substantive than some of the conversations and debates that we have online right now.
Oh,
as
my
this,
God.
This little bit of back and forth that's going on. But when we talk about that, now lately, the issue about Social Security came up. We saw Bernie Sanders put out a video. I did a heck of a lot of pushing back, Phillip, because people were saying that Bernie was being too nice to Joe Biden.
Right.
Then Joe Biden put out he made some claims that there was some doctoring, and we know there wasn't doctoring. It was someone cut off, edited. They didn't play the whole video, but that's not what doctoring is. So
right.
What do you think about this back and forth, and how is it affecting the campaign?
Well, this is to steal a line from my leader, Senator Nina Turner, the Right Reverend Dr. Senator Nina Turner, facts are not attacks. And so we, the American people, African-American people specifically, deserve a government that speaks truth to them in a way that it never has. And so facts are not attacks. When you look at the history and the record of some of these candidates, including and maybe especially Joe Biden, you see a history and a record where when the sides were drawn, these people were on the other side of history. They were on the other side of Black people, of poor people, of elderly people in this country, and they were proud about it. And so why have pride in something that you were on the floor championing, how you ushered in a new era of crime and law enforcement, and then now that you're running for president, you want to run away from that record. And so this campaign has always taken the high road. We've talked about vision. We've talked about where we want to take the country. We've talked about working people, about women, about Black women, about immigrants, Latino and Black. But we've also got to be clear that as we move forward, the Sankofa principle says you got to look back sometimes. And when we look back at some of these people's record, we shouldn't be ashamed of calling out some of the ways that they were once proud of abysmal records about Black people.
Man, that's amazing, man. And I've did some research on the Social Security issue, and I realized that that's it's not a low-hanging fruit type of issue, man. Like most Democrats and most people in general are concerned about Social Security. The Black community is heavily impacted. I'm sure you already know this. 90% of older Black folks rely on Social Security disproportionately as opposed to more wealthy or more well-to-do white folks. So this is not an issue that we're bringing up to like just make noise on the internet. This is an issue that impacts lives. What would you say to people who say, let's move past this, this is mudslinging?
The Social Security net that we built that came about in the New Deal was a part of a plan that said this country deserves to treat people who have worked their entire life with respect after they retire. so they don't fall through the cracks or fall on hard times, that we have actually the capability and the wealth in this country to take care of them. So Social Security is the name of it, but when you really think about it, it is a safety net for our people after they no longer can work. And so when you have someone who wants to destroy that safety net.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Well, we've got some bad news for them. We are not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand benefits.
This is something that should be talked about and should be engaged. Social Security is a crucial part, and we're talking about expanding the social safety net. We're saying you deserve a job, food, clean water, quality education, safety in your home, autonomy over your body. And so this is an opportunity for us to talk about radically different visions for this country, Tim. Someone who wants to shrink social safety nets, and someone who wants to expand it, not because we're giving out handouts, but because Black people, poor people, immigrants, women are responsible for the entirety of the Western world's wealth. And so we earned it already and we deserve it. And so there are two different poles that we're talking about. Same party, allegedly, but two different poles of that party in two different ways forward.
Yeah, I listened to a comment made by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who said that there's really not a left party. We don't have a left. We have a more conservative centrist party.
In what you said earlier, too, I wanted to go back to what you said about our left party. We don't have a left party in the United States. The Democratic Party is not a left party. The Democratic Party is a center or center conservative party. We do not advocate for, we can't even get a floor vote on Medicare for all. Not even a floor vote that gets voted down. We can't even get a vote on it. So this is not a left party. There are left members inside the Democratic Party that are working to try to make that shift happen.
Yes.
I don't know what you think about that.
You know what? I agree. AOC is expanding the Democratic Party in a way that no one has ever been able to anticipate. What she has done for the Democratic Party, she deserves a plaque, right? Because she has brought far more people into the Democratic umbrella, and those people are moving us farther. I agree that we don't have a real left flank, but let me actually rephrase that. I like to be precise with my words. We have a left flank. We have folks that have been organizing in social movements for generations. So we've been there, Tim.
Good point.
But, we've had a shrinking and attacked labor movement who has been attacked at all fronts with McCarthyism, with their own racism, with compromise with capitalism. And so we have a shrunken labor movement, but that is starting to grow again. We have an anti-war movement that is starting to grow again. And so while some parts of the left have atrophied, we're actually in a place where now it is starting to expand. I think she is absolutely true that it hasn't been reflected in the Democratic Party establishment. And there is no true left flank historically for the last decades in the establishment of the Democratic Party, but that is shifting now.
Man, I would argue that you're one of those voices as well, right along with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, man, that's really speaking truth to power for progressives. Now look, I'm going to ask you something. And of course, if you don't want to answer, Phillip, you don't have to answer. But I got to ask you because Hillary Clinton said some things about Bernie Sanders, and I took them kind of personal because I think they're focusing this a distraction from the policies that Bernie Sanders is supporting. She said he's not likable. And I just think I believe that we are voting for Bernie because of policies. Like that's the thing that attracted me to him. I'm from DC. I'm in my late 40s when I found Bernie Sanders. I didn't think there was much we'd have in common, but his policies rang true. What he stands for in his track record. What would you say as a Black man working with Bernie on this campaign, a surrogate for him, when they say, well, Bernie's just not nice enough? What are your thoughts on that? You know what? I have multiple thoughts on it. I'm going to try to make them brief. First off, we don't elect politics. I grew up in church, so I'm long-winded. But we're not going for, we've had likable politicians already. We've had charming
affable, charismatic politicians already.
But no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
In the recent history. And we have not seen material conditions improve for poor people, Black people, women, immigrants in this country under those administrations. I'm not worried about likability. I'm worried about a president who knows who they're accountable to and who speaks and conjures them and puts them at the center of every time they speak. So that's first. So it doesn't matter about likability. But I want to actually, if you want to engage in that arena, let's do that. I've had the privilege of walking behind and alongside Senator Sanders with no security as we walk through the streets of Columbia, through projects in Charleston, as we walk around North Carolina. And let me tell you, he cannot take 2 or 3 steps before people are jumping out of the car. I have an example and I got video. I'll send it to you. Maybe you can put it in your, you can edit it in. I've got video of us walking by a Black woman's hair salon. Now, this is Black women in the middle of getting their hair done. And Black women are the best in the world, but they're not going to let you see them while they're in the middle of getting their hair done. And they were running out of this salon to take pictures with Senator Sanders. And they weren't running out because he was the most charismatic. They weren't running out because he was the most handsome. They were running out because they know that he speaks for them and he talks about them every single time. And I've seen this with white folks. I've seen this with immigrants. I've seen it with Black college students when we go to HBCUs. So first off, likability isn't a real metric that we should be worried about when we're talking about somebody who's doing the work to improve our lives. And second of all, if you want to talk about it, be truthful. You don't like him. An establishment Democrat who has been the corporate wing, neoliberal wing of this party for the last generation doesn't like him. But everyday people, they love Bernie. And they think he's funny, they think he's charming, and they think he doesn't mince words.
Yeah, I thought it was very funny on SNL, opposite of, gosh, that escapes my name.
Larry David.
Larry David, there you go.
Yeah,
his third cousin or fifth cousin or whatever that is. Very, very funny, man. Like, I totally disagree with that. Now, just to shift gears to South Carolina to fit it in before you got to go, Phillip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the plan for South Carolina? How are things looking? We're so concerned. I want to be there. We all want to be with you in South Carolina and help push this forward, my friend. What needs to happen on the ground in South Carolina?
We need everybody that can and who wants to come to South Carolina to come. But I want to speak to the operation there. Senator Nina Turner has adopted the state of South Carolina for the last year. Jessica Bright, our statewide director there, an incredible organizer, native of South Carolina, someone who's incredibly powerful and has done the work there for my buddy Ike, who is a native of Columbia, who was on that team there, Mike, who's the communications director, the women and the men who are working on that team, right, are the people who live there and care about it. And so we hired the most people. We have the most donations in South Carolina, the most endorsements in South Carolina. The operation there is vastly different than the one before. And the last thing I'll say is last time, no one had heard of Senator Sanders. And as I said, now he can't take a few steps in the street without people acknowledging his presence with joy, happiness, and anticipation. And so we're going for first place there. We're going to shock the world. We're going for first place there. People are saying second, third, fourth. We're going for first because if I can be frank, facts are not attacks. We keep hearing about this firewall of Black people who are in love with the establishment candidate. But when I'm going to places, there are people who have never even heard that he's running because his campaign is not talking to them. His campaign has assumed that they're already in his back pocket. And so our campaign is earning the vote. You're not going to be able to endorse your way, establishment your way, identity your way to this vote. And we're earning every single vote, and we're transforming people's opinions about the electoral process and saying, listen, we don't see you as an object that things happen to. We see you as a subject in history that makes things happen. And so that's what we've been doing every day in South Carolina. And so we're going to win in South Carolina, and we're going to shock the world, and we're going to surprise a lot of people. I'm not hedging, but I'll also say that a very strong showing in South Carolina will also silence the doubters. And so I know no matter the outcome in South Carolina, I'm supremely confident that we're going to land a huge surprise when we land that blow in South Carolina.
Wow, that is very inspiring, motivating words from you, Phillip, and we really appreciate it. I was reading some stuff from people online. I think I'm going to insert a couple comments here where they say they don't think Bernie's going to do well in the South. I think it's really early to say that about the rest of the South, but your words speak to what's going on the ground.
Tim, if I could just say one more thing.
Please do, Phillip.
Just yesterday, we had an elected official from South Carolina who had endorsed Biden a few weeks ago say, you know what, I'm switching my endorsement to Senator Sanders.
A South Carolina official who endorsed Joe Biden last month is now backing Senator Bernie Sanders in the state's first in the South presidential primary. Dolly Myers, the vice chair for Richland County's 10th district, tells the Associated Press she now feels the former vice president is a compromise choice.
Myers, who considers herself a conservative Democrat, says that she values Sanders' strength in being able to take on President Trump in the general election.
Facts are not attacks. People who were once endorsing the establishment candidate are now moving over, and this person called herself a conservative Democrat. And she moved over because she said, this is what is best for my people. And so as more people are starting to get that message, this is what is best for people, not best for the establishment party, we're going to actually see the excitement reflected, not on just on Twitter and in the streets, but at the ballot booth.
Amazing. Well, look, Phillip, thank you so much for taking time out.
It's an honor.
BernieSanders.com. I think what's the web address, Phillip?
BernieSanders.com, but the most important web address is BernieSanders.com/issues. Go there and look at what he's talking about, and then go to BernieSanders.com/donate.
Absolutely, man. Look, guys, follow Phillip. Phillip, what's your Twitter handle, Phillip? I'm gonna put that at the bottom here.
My Twitter handle is @IFeelSomething, IPHIL something, and my Instagram is @FeelSomething. You know, it's a little play on words.
Absolutely. Great, man. Great conversation, Phil. I wish you the best. We got your back, brother.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon up in D.C.
You got it, man. Talk to you soon. All right, that was a great interview. I loved it. Check out Phil Agnew @IFeelSomething on Twitter and Feel Something on Instagram. Don't forget, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Do that today. Do that now. Click a video. Watch a new video. We got great videos. We got great interviews. We do it all here on the Tim Black Show. #, we're all Johnson. #, not me, yes.